It feels like Will saw something in his head and therefore he had to scream like this, and maybe, just maybe, he saw what was going to happen in the future. I know it's a wild theory, but bear with me because this can actually make sense. Okay, there were only 8 to 9 scenes that were shown in the first teaser of Stranger Things season 5, but only that has created a lot of buzz on the internet and a lot of fan theories have been pouring in since yesterday. But out of these 8 to 9 scenes, I have carefully picked up 4 to 5 scenes which we are going to discuss in this video, which just brings in a lot of theories, and it also kind of gives us an idea that which character is in real danger. But before that, we have to talk about the first theory that when I read that theory on Twitter, my mind just blew away. I was like, alright, if this happens, fantastic. If this happens, it is going to be absolute cinema. So we're going to talk about that theory first up, and then we'll go into the different theories. So please stick around till the end of the video because this is going to be a very fun and interesting video. So first of all, this X or Twitter user posted this theory. But before this theory, we have to talk about the picture that this theory is talking about. So let me quickly build up the scenario for you of what this scene is actually about. So these two characters are Eleven and Hopper. Now Elle and Hopper are on a crazy adventure in the Upside Down, and we can assume that they are in the Upside Down to hunt down Vecna, or to just study the Upside Down, or to just understand the Upside Down in a better way, because no one literally understands the Upside Down. So they are there, they are studying the Upside Down, they are on an adventure in the Upside Down, and then they come across this huge wall. So my honest first thoughts after seeing this was that this looks like a huge wall, like literally a big ass wall, and it is made of vines and flesh. It really looks like a fleshy, viney kind of a wall, but maybe it could be interpreted as the wall of the Upside Down, or most likely the wall of Hawkins, because we all know the Upside Down was created, and it was created by help of someone, and we thought 11 created the Upside Down, which may be true of course, but the Upside Down is not fully there. That means the Hawkins in the Upside Down is not fully developed, and this could be the wall of the Upside Down Hawkins. Now this was the normal first thoughts, but then I saw this picture and I was like, something is cooking here. And when I focused here, it really looks like this is someone's head, this is someone's hand, these are the limbs, and this is the leg, and this is the body. It really feels like that. And the fact that it is glowing, and the fact that it looks like flesh trapped inside the vines, it really connects very well with this picture that they're showing here. And then I read this theory and I was like, oh, if this happens, it's going to be absolute cinema. So yes, the theory. The way this could mean is Will was already dead in the Upside Down, but the vines kept him alive and he's forever tethered to that place. Now this can explain a lot of things. First of all, the connection of Will with the Upside Down, because frankly, I've also talked about this in one of my previous videos. In fact, in many of my previous videos, that there is not a single scene where we have seen Will sitting down with his mother, or sitting down with Hopper, or sitting down with any doctor and discussing what really happened with him for that entire week when he was in the Upside Down in season number 1. And then we saw in the second season that he was connected to the Upside Down, and we all thought that it's the doing of the Mind Flayer. In the third season, again he had that indication. In the fourth season, again at the end he had that indication, and of course in the fifth season he's going to be the main character. But my point here is that he has always been connected to the Upside Down, and it has never been explained why. And this could really explain that, because Will was always connected to the Upside Down, because he was kept alive by the Upside Down. He was kept alive by Vecna. He was kept alive by the vines, and he was dead all the time. Now you tell me, isn't that freaking interesting? So this explains why Will has this connection with the Upside Down. But just hold on to this theory, because we'll come back to this theory later. Then this scene. This run at the end. Now I've talked about in both of my previous videos about this, that there was an audio leaked many months ago, and in that audio leak we could hear someone scream and say, "Steve, you need to run." And this scene actually confirms this. And if the audio was accurate, that means if that audio meant to say something about Steve, then we can all assume that Steve is in a grave danger. Yeah, and Steve is one of my favorite characters, mind you. But now let's assume that all this scene take place at the same place. That means Mike acting as a protector, Will screaming run, and these portal openings. All these three scenes take place in the same scene. Let's assume that. Now let's talk about the first scene. Now it definitely feels like all of this character are looking at something, and that something is in the air, and they are looking at something and getting absolute shocks. And therefore this girl over here has her jaw literally dropped. Now just hold on to that thought and let's talk about the second scene, the run. Now let's assume that he was actually saying, Steve, you need to run. But the way that Will is screaming this out loud, it feels like Will saw something in his head and therefore he had to scream like this, and maybe, just maybe, he saw what was going to happen in the future. I know it's a wild theory, but bear with me because this can actually make sense. Now this is, I think, one of the themes that everyone is talking about, that Will may have powers in this season, and I think one of the powers that he's going to have is seeing in the future what could happen. And what if he saw in the future that Vecna is going to do something to Steve, and therefore he said, Steve, you need to run. This is possible. Believe me, this is possible. Now what about this scene? Let's assume that this is a portal, that a portal is opening, and now let's connect this scene to the first scene, that some portal opened and out of that portal came out Vecna. And seeing Vecna, all of these kids were terrified, so that actually is possible for both the scenes. But what about the run scene, the run Steve scene? So maybe Will saw that Vecna is going to come out of that portal and then he's going to attack Steve for some reason, and therefore Steve's life's in danger, and therefore Will screams, Steve, you need to run, and momentarily after that Vecna actually comes out of this portal, shoots up in the air, and therefore the kids see him and the kids are terrified upon seeing him. Now again, I invite you to tell me that everything this is delusional as hell and everything this could be wrong, and I want you to just consider for a mild second that what if all this comes true? And I know the answer to that is going to be absolute cinema. So what do we have here? Will could be dead and he could be alive, or rather he could be kept alive by Vecna using the vines. Number 2, Will actually has powers, and number 3, Steve's life is in danger. Didn't I tell you at the start of the video that this is going to be interesting? Now please, I invite you, go down in the comment section and just pour out your thoughts. What do you think about all of these theories? And please, I request you to share this video as much as possible, because frankly, I need that. So just share this with each and every Stranger Things fans you know, and please just show some engagement to this video. Maybe just like the video, just any comment would suffice, but just interact with this video and just share this video with as much people you know. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for watching.